We welcome our viewers to this channel. Today we will talk about the mystery of life and death. The phenomenon of life and death is mysterious phenomenon. Scholars and scientists are trying to solve this puzzle since time immemorial. In spite of the given advancement of science and technology in modern days, we are not able to create sperm or ovum in the laboratory. The issues of life after death or transmigration of soul were looked upon like fairy tales. Till recently, nobody is able to believe life after death except the Hindus and a couple of scholars in the West. Till date, modern science is not able to define relationship of body, mind and soul, and to discuss their roles in the origin of living beings is yet a far cry. In present documentary, an humble effort is being made to define the relationship of body, mind and soul to solve the puzzle of life, hereafter, life and death, transmigration of soul, the existence of heaven and hell from the Indian philosophical point of view. The fact is that the origin of science always takes place in the outlooks of the individuals or the society towards the creation of the world, of the living beings or the non-living beings or things. The inventions or the discoveries in the field of science and technology take their shape or derive inspiration mainly from the philosophical hypotheses formulated by an individual or the society towards the origin of the world. It depends entirely upon the philosophical viewpoint of the innovator, inventor or discoverer as to how he philosophizes the world around him. Whether he takes it as a composition of Prakruti, matter only, or as an outcome of the accident of Prakruti, matter as well as Purusha, that is soul. One's range of innovations, inventions or discoveries is always encompassed by the range of one's philosophical hypothesis. For instance, in modern times, the living or non-living world is considered to be the creation or composition of matter. This is why the modern science is studied in the name of matter, physical properties of which are studied in physics and chemical properties in chemistry. Modern technology is also devised based upon the advancement made by material science or the positive sciences, namely physics and chemistry. Dear friends, this is not the first time that the world is pursuing science. In Vedic times also, in India, science was developed around the philosophical innovations of the Vedic rishis. According to the philosophical concept of Vedic rishis, the world of living beings was not the composition of matter only, rather it was considered to have represented by matter called Prakruti as well as Purusha called consciousness, soul, self or spirit. It evolved on account of the accident or combination or joining of Purusha with Prakruti, as desired by the Purusha or the soul itself. Vedic seers were able to solve this mystery of life and death in this universe. They could invent the laws underlying the transmigration of soul from one body to another body. According to the Vedic scientists, a living being is sum total of consciousness, Purusha, plus Prakruti, matter. The inner being is Purusha and outer body is the evolute of Prakriti or matter. To understand the composition of living beings, it is necessary to understand the Purusha and Prakriti. Now, what is this Purusha, which is known as Jiva, Atma, Chetana in Sanskrit, and English we call it soul, self, or spirit, or consciousness. Purusha is defined in Charaka Samhita, a one of very prominent book on Ayurveda, as Chetana Dhaturapi Ekaha Smritaha Purusha Sanjakaha. The mere consciousness is also mere consciousness that exists in the body, that is also known as Purusha. The concept of Purusha is defined very beautifully by the ancient Vedic scholar Yaska as follows. He says, Purushaha Purishadaha Purishayaha Puryati Antara Ityantaram Purusham Abhipretyaha. That is, Purusha is one who enters the physical body, one who resides in the body, one who fills up the interior of the cave of the body. Katha Upanishad elaborates the same concept like this. Eshaha sarveshu bhuteshu gudhatma na prakashate drishyate tu agraya buddhaya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibhi. The soul concealed in all living creatures cannot be observed. It can be observed only by the high profile yogi who have developed the divine vision through yoga, through the practice of yoga. At another place, the same Kathopanishad says, Angushtha matraha purusho madhya atmani tishthati. Angushtha matraha purushaha. The Purusha is of the size of thumb and it resides in the heart of body. The Purusha is the size of thumb and it is like a fire without smoke. It has been described by elsewhere. Angushtha matraha purusho jyotiriv adhumakaha. Maharshi Charak, while narrating the characteristics of Purusha, says that the knowers of the self, the scholars who are well acquainted with the concept of soul or a Purusha, they say that this Purusha or this self is inactive. It never takes any action. It is independent. It needs not anybody's help. Omnipotent. It wanders through all the species. It can go to the species of human being. It can transfer to the species of animal beings, birds, insects and trees. Everywhere it can enter. It is omnipresent. It is the knower of the body and the witness itself. The above cited definition of Purusha and all above characteristics pertains to the embodied, unembodied Purusha. There are two types of Purusha. The soul has two types. One soul is embodied soul, soul that has entered into the body, and another soul is known as unembodied soul, the soul that has not entered or occupied any body, or the bodiless soul. which is known as absolute soul, absolute Purusha, consciousness. When the same absolute Purusha combines with the Prakriti or matter to form the body of living beings, it becomes embodied Purusha. In fact, for the practical purpose, the mere consciousness or unembodied Purusha has no significance until and unless it joins with the matter to form biological bodies. That is the reason why the Vedic texts dealing with the science of age or medicine make embodied Purusha as their subject matter. All the Ayurvedic texts, they say our subject matter is the embodied Purusha, the Purush that has occupied some body to take actions, to enjoy the fruits of his actions. And they don't deal with the absolute consciousness or the Purusha because that is not their subject matter. That is the reason why the Vedic texts dealing with the science of age or medicines make embodied Purusha as their subject matter and defines the same for the purpose of treatment, because embodied Purusha is vulnerable to disease and not the pure or absolute Purusha. Only the Purusha, the soul which has come in the form of a body, it is afflicted by disease and not the pure or absolute soul. The embodied Purusha is defined in Charaka Samhita, one of the leading books on Ayurveda, as the Charaka Samhita says, I quote, Khadayaschetana dhatavah purushah smritah punascha dhatur bhedena chatur vinshitikah smritah mano dashendriyani artha prakruti shashtra dhatukihi. The aggregate of 5 gross material elements, Prithvi, Jal, Vayu, Agni, Akash, these are known as 5 gross material elements, Mahabhutas. And the 6th consciousness, consciousness as the 6th element. All these 5 great bhutas or gross elements, Akasha, air, fire, water, and this earth, as plus consciousness, all these 6 make a Purusha. Purusha is known as the conglomeration of the 6 dhatus or these 6 elements. At another place, its detailed explanation has been given, again from the division of the constituents. He is known as possessing 24 entities such as mind, 5 sense organs, 5 sense objects, 5 motor senses or motor organs, Prakriti, the matter, including its 7 products. What are those 7 products? Mahat means intellect, Ahankar, the sense of individuation, and 5 Tanmatras, the Stal Mahabhutas, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha. These are 5 Tanmatras. Just like appearance, olfaction, touch, smell, these are the 5 Tanmatras. Means these are the essence of the 5 gross elements. One more book on Ayurveda, known as the Sushruta Samhita, it says, it also defines the body in the similar manner. It says, I quote, Asmin Shastre Pancha Mahabhuta Shariri Samvayah Purusha Ityuchyate Tasmin Kriya So Adhishtanam. In the medical science, Purusha is the dweller in the body made of aggregate of 5 gross elements. He is the seat of diseases, so the medical science is applied to him. Charak Samhita also holds that Purush is formed of 6 constituents: consciousness and 5 gross material elements. So also disease afflicting him. The diseases that afflict a human being, they are also caused by 5 gross material elements. He says, I quote, Shadhatujassu Purusho Rogaha Sadhatujastathaha. The Purush is formed of 6 constituents: consciousness and 5 gross material elements. So also the disease afflicting him. Next to Purusha, the Prakruti is most important factor to understand the constitution of a living being, as the living being is created only when Purusha occupies the biological body formed of Prakruti or matter. What is Prakruti? What is this matter? This is also one of the questions that puzzles the mind of all scholars. Prakruti is the sum total of sattva, 3 qualities. Prakruti is the sum total of 3 qualities, that is sattva, intelligence, number 2 rajas, rajas means energy, and tamas, inertia. Remaining, all these 3 qualities, they remain in the equilibrium state or remain in homogeneous state. Their homogeneous state is known as Prakruti. But when this homogeneous state is disturbed, that is known as Vikriti, or it gives rise to the evolution of the universe as well as the body. The human body starts developing as soon as this tripod is disturbed. The equilibrium of the tripod is disturbed, the human body starts developing. In this regard, regarding Prakruti, Sankhya Darshan, one of the prominent philosophy, Indian philosophical system, it says Sattva Rajas Tamasam Samyavasthaha Prakruti. When Purusha enters the future body with the help of mind attached to it, the equilibrium of the homogeneity of the new body is broken and inhomogeneity is created, due to which Prakruti or matter disintegrates into Mahan, that is intellect. Mahan gives rise to Ahankara, the sense of individuality or sense of individuation. Maha, this Ahankara further disintegrates into Satvika Ahankara, Rajasic Ahankara and Tamasic Ahankara. From Satvika Ahankara or the intelligence dominated Ahankara in combination with energy dominated Ahankara are formed mind and 5 sense organs as well as 5 motor organs. These 5 sense organs, they are auditory, skin sensation, touch sensation, visual sensation, tastes and olfactory sensations. These are the 5 sense organs. These are formed from the intelligence or a sattva dominated Ahankara in combination with energy dominated Ahankara or rajas dominated Ahankara. The Rajasic, or you can say Rajasic plus Sattvic Ahankara, they gives rise to the origin of mind as well as 10 senses, 5 sense organs plus 5 motor senses. And these 5 motor senses, they are hands, feet, anus, genitals, and organ of speech. Similarly, this tamas ahankara, the inertia dominated ahankara, when joins with energy dominated ahankara, or the combination of tamasic ahankara as well as a rajasic ahankara, gives rise to the origin of 5 tanmatras. 5 tanmatras are known as sound, touch, sight, taste, and smell. And from these 5 tanmatras, 5 gross material elements of the universe, namely Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, and Prithvi, are formed in a particular order. This fact has been confirmed by Sankhya Darshan itself. I quote, Prakrutir Mahan Mahato Ahankarah Ahankarat Panchatanamatrani Ubhayam Indriyam Tanamatrebhyah Sthul Bhutani. Explaining the same fact, the celebrated author of Charak Sanghita says that due to the presence of Akasha element, body develops pores, the vacant spaces, big and small channels. Due to the presence of Vayu element or air element, our body develops systems of respiration and reflex system like twinkling of eyes and contraction of eyes, relaxation, movement, and the propulsion. Due to the presence of Agni element, body develops pitta, heat, and luster. Water element provides body with a liquid, mobility, dullness, unctuousness, softness, slimy, rasa, blood, muscle fat, thickness, stability, massiveness, heaviness, coarseness, and hairs, beards, and mustaches, skin hairs, tendons are also formed due to the presence of earth element. Thus, from the aforementioned lecture statements, it is clear that both mind, including intellect and ahankara. Whenever I will speak of mind or I will pronounce the word mind, it will include all the 3 things: mind itself, intelligence, as well as the sense of individuation. These 3 entities combinedly named as mind. Both mind and body, the important components of the living being, are the products of matter, Prakruti. Now we shall find out the definition of mind and body as described in the Vedic texts and their respective roles, functioning or functions in the living beings. Mind. What is mind? This question has often vexed the minds of the scholars and psychologists. Although we are time and again use the word mind, but actually we don't have its definition, a proper definition given by the modern science till date. But the ancient Vedic scientists, the scholars, Indian scholars, they have defined mind, and the prominent among those philosophers is the Yoga Vasisht, the Maharshi Vasisht, who wrote the book on Yoga Vasisht. He says mind is the result of the union of breath with desire. When the desire combines with the breathing system, he says the development of mind takes place. He says, Yatha pranendriya anandam ananda pavanau ubhau chittashotapadike saradham tadaita vasani tadaha. As the union of breath of life with the organs produces sensations. So, breath being united with desire is the productive of mind. In this way, we can safely say that the living and sensitive plants which are devoid of desire are devoid of mind also. Here it may be stated that the end of desire is the end of mind, and the end of mind tantamounts to the end of birth and death cycle, which is known in philosophical terms emancipation, moksha, kaivalya. Mind is known variously by names of sattva and chitta. It consists of the entities, as I pointed out earlier, intellect, ahankara, and the mind is used compositely to denote all these three entities. Among these three, intellect is defined as the decision-making power in human beings. The Sankhya philosopher says, while defining intellect, he says, Adhyavashayatmika buddhi. Ahankar is defined as the sense of individuation, like one says, I am the doer of this thing, I have done that work. So this type of individuation, that I am everything, I am doing all these things, I am thinking, I am living. So this type of sense in the human body develops due to the entity of ahankara. Abhimano ahankara. And mind is desire, defined as the power of analyzing, sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha. Analyzing, analytical power, it is with the mind. So mind is an entity that empowers you with the power of analysis. Now, this mind is the storehouse of sanskaras, and sanskaras play a prominent role in the life after life, in the life hereafter. The sanskaras are the seeds that lead a human being from this life to the future life. So it is most important to understand the sanskara or to define the sanskara. The mind, consisting of the above mentioned three entities, is the storehouse of sanskaras. And what is this sanskara? Sanskara is a psychological genes encoded in the mind. There is a correlation. We must understand that there is a correlation between psychology and physiology. The physiology cannot be different from the psychology. Whatever psychology transforms into our physiology. Whatever psychology we have, the same transforms into our physiology. The genes is the same thing at physiological level what is sanskar at psychological level. So either you can treat your psychology to treat the physiology, or you can treat the genes to treat your psychology. It's all the way same thing. Here it may also not be out of context to inform that mind consisting of the above three entities is like a box accompanying Atma, soul or Purusha, self, forever. It always accompanies the mind, always accompanies the soul, Purusha. It never remains different from Purusha. It is the part and parcel of Purusha, because this human body, this Atma, is accompanied by a stall body, and that stall body is comprised of mind. The mind follows the action of the body. Whatever we do, think, eat or drink is encoded in our mind as sanskaras or vasanas. These sanskaras are retained in buddhi, that intelligence part of the mind or intellect part of the mind, you can say. Sankhya Darshan describes intellect as the storehouse of all karmic sanskaras. All karmic sanskaras, they are stored in our intelligence, intellect part of the mind, intelligence part of the mind. Tatha shesha sanskaradharatvata. These sanskaras act as the seed for next life. Vedanta Darshan says, Sanskar Bijata Srishti. Seeds of sanskaras are instrumental behind the future lives of human beings. It depends upon your sanskaras what type of species you have destined for yourself, as sanskaras of human being leads one to the birth of the next species. With feminine sanskaras, one is destined to be born as a woman. With masculine sanskaras, one is born as a man. With animal, insect, plant like sanskaras, one is destined to be born as animal, insect, plant or birds. The yoga philosopher Patanjali says, Sanskara sakshat karanat purvajyati janam. If one is able to realize the sanskaras of a particular human being, he will be able to know his past species. To explain this phenomenon further, our present life is the result of the past sanskaras. Whatever body we have attained in this present life we are living, it is because of our past life sanskaras. As per the Vedic philosophy, a human being also carries along with him. What we carry? There are certain things that we carry with us from our past lives, and we carry the Ayu, lifespan, Vidya, knowledge, Yasha, name and fame, and prosperity, and Bala, physical health. These four things are being carried by every human being from the past lives. In the present life, due to sanskaras accumulated in past life. Due to this fact, Ayurveda also takes into account Deva Vyapashraya Vyadhis or Deva Vyapashraya diseases afflicting our bodies due to the past life karmas or karmic sanskaras. Ayurveda says that Deva Vyapashraya diseases can be treated with the help of Deva Vyapashraya treatment system. And Deva Vyapashraya treatment system is quite different from the medication system that we follow presently. He says Deva Vyapashraya treatment include performance of yajna, charity work, respect and care for elderly people in the family and society. That is why Indian sages suggested that if one wants to prolong his life, add to his knowledge, seek name and fame, and maintain healthy body, he should greet his elders. He should give full respect to the elderly persons in family as well as society. The shloka The mantra goes like this: Abhivadanshīlasya nityam vriddhopasevinah Chatvari tasya vardhante ayurvidya yashopalam. So it is necessary to inculcate good sanskaras so that either a human being is transformed into a deva or attains the species of human being maintaining a status quo in their species and not revert back to lower species called Narakaloka, that is animal or plant life here. It is necessary to understand the concept of Swarga and Naraka, concept of heaven and hell, how a person goes to heaven after death and how he reverts to the Naraka after death. The progression and regression of the life of a human being to Swarga and Naraka is very important part of the transmigration of his soul after his death. We need to understand the theory of 5 koshas to understand the concept of Naraka and Swarga. The entire creation of living beings is distributed over to the 5 koshas, 5 sheaths. The body of human beings also consists of 5 koshas. Hereunder is explained this mystery of koshas. There are 5 koshas. First one is known as Annamaya kosha. Second one is known as Pranamaya kosha. Third one is known as Manomaya kosha. Fourth one is known as Vijnanamaya kosha. And fifth one as Anandamaya kosha. To explain all these koshas individually, let me say that the development of the above mentioned 5 koshas is visible in a physical body. Similarly, various species of living beings develop according to the dominance of one of the above 5 koshas. For instance, skin, flesh, fat, bones, filth of physical body are composed of Annamaya kosha. Annamaya kosha is nourished by the food and act of the food stuff for living beings. At this level, consciousness remains dormant, or say consciousness remains unconscious or in a state of deep sleep. All plants, herbs, shrubs, grains, vegetations may be categorized to have developed at this level and so are considered as the best foodstuffs for human beings. The pranic system, sense organs, and the organs of actions of the body are formed of pranamaya kosha. Pranic system is constituted of 5 types of airs, pranas. Number 1, pranavayu. It controls our breathing system. Apanavayu controls our excretory system. Vyana controls our circulatory system. Samana controls our digestive system. And Udana controls vocal system or the sound production mechanism of the body. At this level, consciousness remains in the state of dream. At the pranamaya kosha level also, consciousness is in a dreaming state. We are not able to realize it in a very obvious manner. It can be identified with the sensation present in creatures. All small insects have developed at this level. They are attributed with sensation. we find the further development of consciousness at Manomaya Kosha. Its further development is the Manomaya Kosha. Mind of living being is composed of Manomaya Kosha. What is mind? What is manas? This has already been answered or defined. While discussing the subject of the origin of human body and mind has been perceived in Yoga Vasishtha as the cause of all things in course of time, and the source of all its pleasurable and painful feelings, which develop and diminish in itself and never grow without it. Avinabhavinityam kalakankshi tatha sarvam utpadayati etatchittakaha samvidatmakaha. The mind is the cause of all things, cause of the all things in course of time, and source of all its pleasure and pain, which rise and fall in itself and never grow without it. Mind is the instrument of knowledge. Charaka Samhita defines mind as an instrument of knowledge. The knowledge is produced by the contact of soul, Purusha, with sense organs and their sense objects attended by mind. If this contact is not attended by mind, production of knowledge cannot take place. The process of the origin of knowledge takes place when sense object is received by sense organs in the presence of mind. Then mind analyzes it in the forms of merits or demerits and forwards this message to the buddhi or intellect, which produces decisive knowledge with the help of Purusha, by which one proceeds to speak or to do something with full knowledge. Here, the entity of Ahankara enables one to feel that I am the doer. Thus, sense organs are capable of perceiving their objects only when they are supported by mind. But mind does not attend to more than one sense organ at a time. That is why we can perceive only one thing at one time. Stillness, oneness are known as the two qualities of mind: thinking, analyzing, reasoning, meditating, determination, and whatever is to be perceived by mind is the subject matter of mind. Functions of mind consist of control over senses, self-restraint, reasoning, and analyzing. Mind forms the link between body and soul. It forms the link between body and soul according to the Yoga Vasishtha. Mind on one hand is associated with Purusha permanently, and on the other hand it is made up of matter, Prakruti. So it forms the link between soul and the body after death. Charaka Samhita sheds ample good light on this matter. I quote, Sattvam Jivam Sparka Sharirena Abhisambadhnati. That is, mind connects the soul with the mortal body. Now the question arises as to how this connection between body and soul with the help of mind takes place. In this regard, it may be informed that sanskara plays a vital role in this process. The different species in the universe are the result of different sanskaras. We see so many species in this universe. There are fishes, there are frogs, there are big animals just like elephant, whale, camel, lion, so many species are there. The Indian philosopher says that these species are the result of the different sanskaras. Different type of sanskaras are existing in the universe in the form of mind. So different type of species are going to originate.